Hello. Okay, so I was actually planning to record for Patreon, which I still hope to do today, but I wanted to wait to record for YouTube, and I am actually staying with my sister right now in San Francisco, and my niece, my nephew, and my brother-in-law, and I'm in my nephew's room, and I looked up at a poster that he has over his bureau, and I realized I had a dream recently where I was swimming in a pool, and I think I talked about this dream maybe like a week ago or so in a YouTube transmission. And in the dream in the pool, I was with specifically like a black and white killer whale, a polar bear, and a penguin. I looked up on this poster, and there's a killer whale. When I said that, I thought of like streetwear, or like, I don't even know how certain like clothing you say like something wear. So there could be something about like fashion clothing coming in. It's interesting because I'm also reminded I was taking a walk, and I looked up, and it was a few weeks ago, and I saw this like whole wardrobe in a window on, I don't know, let's say like the 7th floor of a building. And I've been sort of like imagining myself in, I feel like my clothing style specifically is feeling like it wants, I don't know, like just an upgrade. I've been traveling for the last few years, so I've been like, you know, with a backpack and just very minimal. I'm always very minimal in clothing, actually. But I've just been like feeling like I'm ready to like have an upgrade in that area. Anyway, and so I was like just sort of like calling that in, and then I looked up and saw like this whole window full of clothing, and I just like had an image of like, you know, things are starting to show up in that way. And I think I talked about that in another transmission. It doesn't have to be clothing for you exactly, but you may be starting to see these like external flashes of things that maybe you've been desiring. Anyway, back to the poster. So I was reminded of that dream, and when I sort of just tapped in for a second, I asked like what was the significance to this connection of the poster and the animals in the dream. So before I came here, my brother-in-law asked me to come and help out because he wanted to go away for a few days, and he didn't want to leave my sister alone, which is so lovely. And I actually had other plans, and something told me to like do what I could to see if I could cancel those plans and come here. But I wasn't sure, you know, like sometimes when we make these decisions, it's like, what's the best decision? And so I was just shown right now, like, that decision was, for, you know, it's like not about making right or wrong decisions, but potentially like what serves our highest good, and that this was like the highest good decision, if you will. So there could be something like this coming in for you, like maybe there's a similar thing where you have a dream of something, and then you see that specific thing show up when you're in amidst the decision you made to like confirm. Of course, it doesn't have to be a dream. That's just an example, but yeah, there's something about that coming through. The song, I don't know what it's called actually. I Want Money, Power from Lana Del Rey just popped in my head. So there could be something about that song or the lyrics. I'm hearing a lot of Lana Del Rey songs all of a sudden. I'm also hearing Carmen. Does anyone else remember that game, Where in the World is Carmen Sandiego? That game's been coming up a lot lately. I don't know why. So travel could be significant for some of you. Okay. I wanted to look at my notes because I've been keeping notes as usual. The word singularity kept showing up. Singularity. And there's something about like returning to the singularity of the self. So this like, it's funny, my sister and I were having a conversation about like nature versus nurture and like how she has kids now and things that she's seeing. Because we used to have these conversations all the time, like before she had kids. So yeah, there's this like idea of returning to like a most authentic, pure desire versions of yourself, etc. That's like dimensional bleed through has also been coming through a lot, so you may be experiencing this. Okay, something else I wrote down was 1, 2, 3, time to receive, and I saw a license plate with the initials NOW, like now. Those initials can be significant, but there's also this like something is happening now, like, yeah, because I didn't realize these things that I've been writing down, sometimes they come together and I don't, I just write them down as I see them or feel them. So it does feel like something is coming in like now. There's also the saying of like, some of you could have read the book, The Power of Now. I am seeing that. I just got a notification. Oh my God. And it's 1, 2, 3. It's 11:23 on the clock. And I was just saying 1, 2, 3. Yeah. So there's something about like layers of confirmation, layers of alignment, layers of synchronization. 1, 2, 3, time to receive. And then something about like in the now. So maybe some of you may feel like you are just more present, more in the now, if you will. I'm seeing so many things at the same time. Okay, I heard ow now brown cow. I don't know why that makes me think of Anchorman. Anchorman. Oh, I haven't watched that in a really long time. I feel like I need to watch that now. But yeah, ow now brown cow. And then also I saw like POW and then I heard prisoner of war. Some of you could be like, I don't know, reading books around that topic, drawn to storylines like that. Maybe you're having dreams in connection to that in some way. I also just heard in my head Pretty Pretty Princess, which I feel like that was a game at some point, Pretty Princess. Okay. And any of these things, again, could just be like, maybe you were just talking about that. Maybe someone's going to bring that up to you. Like, there's just these little things connecting. Okay, there's a few different energetic strands coming in. So I heard this song the other day that I haven't heard in forever. It came on the radio. 2 of Hearts. It's like 2 of Hearts. Something become one. I don't know, something like that. And of course it made me think of the 2 of Cups and Tarot, because I kept seeing like symbolism for that. And then when I heard that song, it like clicked together. And my nose just started itching like crazy. So some of you may be like, oh my God, so much itch. Yeah, I feel like there's been this like heart-to-heart conversation that's been in the air for like months. So I feel like there's something significant happening with that, because then I also wrote down 2 of Cups, Harps, and 10-10. Wheel of Fortune, wheel turning, closing of cycles. That's been in the energy for a long time, but it's coming through in like another layer, essentially. And then Antares Stargate, the Antares Stargate. I was meditating the other day and I saw this like being flash in, and I heard Antares, and I'll say like the energetic imprint of the vision that I had looked like a being that I've seen depicted from Antares. So, and I think right after that, there's just been a lot about Antares coming through, and one of you actually sent me something about Antares, so that was synchronistic. And the stellar nations was coming through. I have listened to, I think her name is Leslie Shankman. She talks a lot about the stellar nations. So some of you can be involved in that. I never, like, they do something called like an Antares code. I've never gotten my Antares code, but there is something, perhaps like through research, that there might be something there for you if you haven't already tapped into that. But they say that there's like, Stargate options that we can come into this universe through. One of them, I believe, is the Arcturus Stargate, another one, Antares. So some of you could be tapping into, like, again, that singularity, like perhaps looking through my left hand just started to tingle. I'll say the soul lineage or pathway that you feel the most connected to of how you came into this universe. So that could be for some of you. I also feel the Hathors coming through. When I said that, my whole body is like, I have full chills. Like, I feel like if I even slightly move, like, I can't explain with words so much. Whew. Okay, I'm also seeing like iridescent rainbow pastel colors surrounding the light above me. But when I was having that experience, there was a movie that flashed to me, and I can feel it and see it, but I can't remember anything else about it. So hopefully it will come through if it's meant to. Well, I had to really pause and sit with this for a second, but I finally got the image that was being shown to me. So some of you could feel like you're like downloading something, like an image, a vision, and it may like I'm seeing like a buffer. There may be like buffering, so it may not be coming in as fast as you want it to. But what I got was what movie is this? Katherine Heigl is in it, and Gerard Butler. I can't remember the name. But her classic roles, she plays like an uptight type A high-string person, and like winds up falling in love. But The Ugly Truth, that's this movie. And specifically the part where Gerard Butler buys her vibrating underwear, and then like it plays, a little kid like finds the remote. They're in a restaurant, if you're familiar with the scene, and the little kid takes the control and is like, and she's trying to give a speech at a work dinner, and like her underwear is vibrating, and she basically like has an orgasm in front of everyone, and they are like, what is going on with her? And when she's talking, she's like, she's like trying to talk and her voice is shaking. I don't know why that scene is coming through, but it's coming through really strongly. Yeah, it's funny. Okay, well, yeah, I feel like I'm lingering in that vision that came through. So there's like some sort of energy around that, like where something may be coming in that's very like orgasmic, if you will, and you just like want to linger in that. I don't know, that's what I'm feeling. But as soon as I said that, my right temple started to hurt. So what's that about? And I heard the phrase crushing windpipe. Speaking of visions, I often will see, it's been a little while, but when I'm coming out of the hypnagogic state, I often see this like, well, I see different things, but one of the things that I see, it took me a while, I think, to figure out what it was. But the other day, I've been seeing this off and on for a few years, and it came finally a sea urchin. So sea urchins can be coming through. I also heard uni, so some of you may have like really like uni, or maybe you're trying it for the first time, but the urchin, so it like unravels itself, and it's said that the sea urchin has like this one big eye that it uses for light, to survey its surroundings through the spine. So I don't know why I wrote that down, but it felt really significant for someone. If you want to look up like the sea urchin spiritual meaning, feel free to do that and share it. No pressure, of course. But yeah. So you could start, if not already, maybe seeing sea urchins come through. But there is something about that. Like, of course, when we think of the one big eye, we think of our pineal and how it utilizes light. So there's something like sensitivities are coming through. You may be like going through phases of sensitivities as you're like reacclimating or adjusting, reattuning. Excuse me. Also, my mom messaged me a video and an orb came through her video, and she was asking me for some information to see what I was feeling. And then it was like we opened up, what's that called? Pandora's box. And like all these messages started coming through from like different layers of reality. So some of you may be having experiences like that. And in her particular situation, she was trying to record the sky because I think it was October 1st maybe. There was supposed to be like a galaxy or a nebula you were able to see with the naked eye. She thinks it was Andromeda. I didn't look it up yet, but it was funny that she said Andromeda because I was just talking about Andromeda the day before on YouTube. So I was like, oh, that's pretty interesting that you're bringing that up. I was literally just tapping into Andromeda. So anyway, so she was trying to record one thing, and then all of a sudden her neighbor's light just started flashing like crazy, and she was like, this does not usually happen. Like, what's going on? And that showed up on the video, and then an orb came in the video. So there could be something like this coming for you. Like maybe you're trying to do one thing, but then, you know, you have like a light flickering or some sort of like technology or technological glitch, and then it's actually drawing your attention to like something else. That's very specific, so that may not be for everyone, but that song Two of Hearts will not stop playing in my mind. Yeah, so whether it's a love situation and or other something else, like there's a harmony or a balancing of harmony coming in is what it feels like. There was also a collective message I felt like coming in when I was tapping in for my mom about shedding identity, and this idea of like, let's say I feel like my mom wouldn't mind, I'll use her as an example. She has like over the last couple years really stepped into like a role of responsibility, caretaker. I think something most of her life she's like evaded or like not been able to really like step fully into. And sometimes she still shows up in this like, oh, I'm so immature, I'm so this, I'm so that, I don't deal with responsibility well or whatever. And like that was true at some point, but she's like clearly demonstrated that she's stepped into this role and she's doing it quite well, may I add, in multiple areas of life. And I like said to her, hey, like you're being asked to like reevaluate how you view yourself and how you show up, because you keep saying that you're, you know, not responsible or not this or you can't handle that, but like not only have you been doing it for a while, but you're doing it like very well. So that it doesn't have to be that exactly, of course, but there's just this idea of like maybe, you know, shedding a version of yourself or shedding the way you speak about yourself or shedding a certain identity that maybe you were so used to being in, but like that doesn't really apply anymore. So that could be in multiple areas of life. I feel like I can't, like I have marbles in my mouth. I'm like, blah, blah, blah. Maybe for some of you it's with speaking. In fact, I know I'm going through this myself. I just realized this right now. I've been so afraid of like public speaking my entire life that even though I'm still like starting to do it, and I still sometimes feel like that person who like, oh, I would never do that, but like I do it all the time on YouTube, even if it is like, you know, not maybe in the way I always imagined speaking. Like I'm still doing something I would have never done at another point in my life. So yeah, there is something like that coming up for the collective. I have been seeing so many images of frogs lately, like so many in the last few days, just like frogs in like the weirdest ways. So I did just release a what did I call it? The bufonic experience. Tapping into like essentially microdosing liquid light through the bufo frequency without actually ingesting anything. So if that interests someone, it came through as like a cleansing and purification vocal experience. I guess I was just guided to mention that. But yeah, there could be something coming through frogs. Also, okay, I just heard like 3 words at once. Ajita, the word ajita. So some of you may be going through like heartburn or like anything in that nature, as well as Anka. There's this collective that I found researching one day. They came through as Anka, that are supposed to be these like bipedal amphibious beings in a still physical collective, but extremely crystalline. So that could be coming through for some of you. I just got chills when I said that. I feel like I just need to make weird noises with my mouth. Some of you may be going through that too, like maybe light language is coming online. Maybe you're just like learning a new language. There's something about like needing to just like express through the mouth. I was just flashed this woman I met when I was in Belgium, and she could make the most unexpected noises with her throat and her mouth. Like, she is a sound healer, but she also just like really tapped into like this almost like, the word omniscient is coming through, maybe not in the way that's traditional, but just like ways that she taps in through the whole being of her body to make certain noises. Like, I asked her process one time, and she was like, you know, I utilize these different parts of myself to express noise that most people don't even think that you can do. So there's something about that coming through as well. I'm seeing violet, like an ultraviolet light, and a maybe cobalt blue color. And that always reminds me of, multiple things, but hierogamic union templates that have been really highlighted lately, that there's like, so the way I just saw it was the ultraviolet light was in the center, and then the cobalt blue was like surrounding that. So unity, circular, also like one within the other. And the cobalt blue to me felt like it was like being protected by the violet energy. This is really strange the way it's coming through, but I'm also seeing now this like very, very vibrant green color, and I'm hearing green glow, which I cannot take credit for that. Infinity for a magnetizer stuff brought that through a couple years ago, and I was seeing this green glow like around doorways. Like, I kept seeing it so strongly, and I kept asking, like, I wasn't really getting anything, but I was like, what is this? And I listened to her channel one day a few years back, and she talked about this green glow. It was like right after I asked what was going on. And now I usually see that like right before there's some sort of like if you're in a physical like distance from someone that you feel connected to on like a hierogamic template union level, and then I'll see this green glow, and there's usually some sort of like physical communication coming in. So that could be for a few of you. I wanted to say something about I feel like I was talking about one thing and then it just kind of checked out for a moment. Oh, I've been seeing a lot of roses too. And I did record the other day from like a rose garden. And today I just saw this like most beautiful rose in the most unexpected place. And it had so many thorns present. It was a red rose and the red was just so bright. I wanted to smell it, but it was like behind this gate. But it was just like, I don't know, I've seen a lot of roses before. And this one just seemed like, yeah, like you could really see the thorns. They were just like standing out so much to me. And I'm being shown like the Beauty and the Beast rose, you know, like the curse that was put on the beast. I don't know. There's something about that coming through. And especially highlighting the thorns. So, you know, thorns, boundaries, worth. There's something about that being highlighted or at play. My nose is going off again. Woo-woo-woo. Also, the first night I slept here at my sister's the other day, my brother-in-law was still here and everyone like woke up in the morning and the song, someone was singing the song Sugar, Sugar. And that song's been coming through again, so there could be a message in that. Oh, because my nephew had a cough and we were trying to get him to eat honey. And so we started singing the song, Sugar, Sugar, Honey, Honey. But yeah, there was something, I was like watching the four of them, my niece, my nephew, and my sister, and my brother-in-law, and like they were just like all like singing together. It was so cute. And I was like, I don't know, just like one of those moments. So you could be having some moments come in if you haven't already, like again, like that Two of Cups energy, like just like harmony, like innocence, joy, like that whole vibe. So interesting because it's 11:44 on the clock, and when I went to record earlier, even though it was not 11:44, I was flashed the number 11:44. So there could be something significant about that number too. A song just popped in my head that I literally have not heard in years. So hold on, let me try and get it out. An actress, Jennifer, I have chills for some reason. Jennifer something, I can't remember her last name right now. She was the Hunger Game girl. And she sings a song like Dreaming Tree or something. Are you coming to the tree? Are you? Strange things have happened, something. I can't remember, but there's something about that song. It kind of has like a little bit of an ominous tone to it. I can see her face and I can hear her voice, but I just can't remember her last name right now. Yeah, I'm not sure why that song is coming through, but maybe something will come up. I'm still sort of working out in my mind the overflow for the last transmission on YouTube that I recorded, and there was a lot about Quetzalcoatl and the Buddhabrot, which they call the thumbprint of God, or fractals. They say it's like where the mind meets matter, and that's been coming through a lot, or like nature's artwork. Yeah, exactly. I forgot. I had written down self-singularity, the single-pointed consciousness that awakens within the pineal. And I was getting that like from the sea urchin, like that big eye working with light kind of vibe. So yeah, there's something about, I'm seeing someone with like a flashlight and like digging for something in the dark. So yeah, you could be like starting to see in the dark, meaning like some of you, that might be literal. You might be like in the dark and like seeing lights or seeing fractals. But there's also this like symbolic or metaphoric representation. It's funny because someone just came in the house, like walking through a door, you know? So yeah, there's something about like starting to see through the dark, you know, parts of yourself that maybe have been, quote, hidden, seeing maybe things that have felt like you can't quite just see no matter what you do, or can't quite ground, are starting to come to a light type of thing. Okay, well, I'm going to call it here. Thank you so much. Yeah.